Hello, everyone. Can everyone hear me okay? I'm just want to see if anyone can hear me okay. If you can hear me, just if you can notice on the right side, there's a public chat box. Just type in yes, you can hear me, and then I will start talking. I just want to make sure that I'm live here.
I don't got anything.
You don't have anything? Okay, hold on just 1 second.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Great, so I think that you can all hear me. So before we begin, I just want to go over a few housekeeping things here. So if you notice that chat box that's on the right-hand side, you'll notice that throughout the webinar, you can type in any questions that you have, and I will try to answer them as we're going along. And then you'll notice beside the chat box, there's another tab, and it's called Polls. And if you click on that box, you'll notice that there's already a poll that's been put out, and it's about they're just kind of little fun polls that I put on throughout this cleanse, and I will let you know when the question changes. And the next one is to the next tab to the right there is attendees. That's not really too much. It just lets you know who is in attendance tonight. And then right beside that we have pop-ins, and that just lets you know what is going on, what sort of special offer that I have tonight for what we're talking about. So that about covers our housekeeping. So before I go on, let me begin by introducing myself for those of you who may not know me. So I'm Melissa Van den Heuvel, and my company is Blissfully Authentic. I am a woman of many talents and interests. But tonight I'm speaking to you as a certified health coach, a concerned citizen, and a passionate woman about the very topic that we're talking about tonight. This is how I started my career in health many years ago, and this topic is very near and dear to my heart. So I don't want to take up too much of your time telling you about my story, because we do have a lot of good things to get to. So what I'm going to do is share throughout this webinar just a few things about what I've learned along the way and how I've gotten to where I am. Oops. So let's get ready to talk about detox and why it is important. So most people that I meet, they're walking around with symptoms such as allergies, headaches, body aches, and mood swings. And what they don't realize is that these are their body's way of telling them that something is out of balance. So most people will pop a pill to help take away the pain, which is really a signal that's letting us know that our body's out of balance. We keep on going and we just dull the pain. So by ignoring these symptoms, our body will eventually start to scream louder. Sometimes we can hear it and other times we don't. So when I was pretty lucky, so when my body wanted my attention, it didn't hide out somewhere for it to go unnoticed. It showed up loud and clear on my face in the form of cystic acne. So up until this time in my life, I had pretty clear skin. And this happened to be around the time that I was around 30. So at this time, I was in sales, and I have to say that it was really hard doing sales when you have a low self-esteem and you're really self-conscious about the way you look. So I ended up leaving that job and hiding out in my house, diving into research about how I could heal myself, and what I discovered was pretty shocking. So this is what I'm going to be sharing with you here tonight. Oh, sorry, jumped over. So imagine the importance of cleansing. So if we imagine that our body is a car, and this is a car that we're going to have for the rest of our life. So it's really important that we're going to maintain that car with the utmost care. So you're going to wash the inside, you're going to clean out the outside as well, you're going to change your fluids, and you're going to do all sorts of things that you can to protect it. So let me go back to your body being a car. So most of us have a routine that takes care of the basics. We shower our bodies, we wash out our hair, we brush our teeth, we feed ourselves food, we give ourselves liquids, and there's a whole bunch of other things that we do in between. But what if these things that we were doing was actually causing us harm? And what if we were missing a few steps? Well, the reality is that most of us are missing a few steps, with one of the big ones being detoxification. So we detox to decrease inflammation, to clean the blood, to unclog the pipes. We also detox to remove unwanted waste, toxins, chemicals, and pathogens that have found their way into our body and are wreaking havoc in our system. This is what most people call toxic overload. So by removing the toxins and nourishing our body with the right nutrients, we can regenerate our cells, improve our digestion, and boost our metabolism. So tonight, what we're going to be talking about is we're going to be covering symptoms of toxicity, where the toxins are coming from, how we can avoid them, and what the benefits are of doing a regular cleanse. So as I was mentioning earlier, most of us have experienced or are experiencing currently some of these symptoms at some point in time in our life. So fatigue, headache, and trouble with losing weight seem to be some of the most common things that happen amongst people. So recently I was on a plane and there was a person beside my husband who was eating a big bag of candy. He asked his travel companion for an Advil for his headache. So as she passed him the Advil, she asked him if he wanted some water. He declined, and he drank down his Advil with his soda. So this was totally me years ago. I wouldn't have thought any differently than this boy did. I would have chosen my diet soda and Advil over water any day. So I suspect that this guy's headache was his body's way of saying, enough with the sugar, and can I please have some water? I know this was the case for me anyways. So if you're frequently dealing with any symptoms of toxicity and you find yourself reaching for the quick fix remedies, whether it be caffeine, Advil, or diet pills, please know that these symptoms are your body's way of trying to communicate to you what it needs. So the question is, are you willing to listen? No, sorry. Right now, if you have any questions, just let me know. So the question is are you willing to listen? So the reason why we want to listen is because when we don't listen, what happens is our body will eventually, the toxicity in our body leads to disease. As you can see here, allergy, asthma, all these diseases, they're a sign that toxins have been building up in your body and your cells are under stress and they can no longer handle the stress. So many of these diseases that are listed here, they are caused by toxins in the body. And it's very easy to prevent and even reverse some of these diseases, just as long as we're doing what we can to avoid bringing in toxins and what we can to detoxify the body. Sorry, I'm having problems with my notes here. So when we detoxify our body, we are giving time to our body, and we get a lot of great rewards from it. So since I have started cleansing my body, I no longer have the afternoon crash at 3 to 4 where you're just so tired you can't make it through your day. I actually have energy that takes me from the morning through night without the use of caffeine. I don't crave foods that I used to. I get no more sugar or carb cravings, which was a huge thing that I used to always suffer with. I maintain a weight that is 15 pounds lower than I was when I was a teenager and 50 pounds less than when I was in my heaviest in my 20s. So I no longer have crazy mood swings, and I have to say that I'm always happy, even in the winter, which is a really big deal for me. And I honestly don't believe that without cleansing my body and my cells that I would be where I am with my health, and I really believe that this has changed my life. So one of the biggest toxins that we face every day is sugar. And in my humble opinion, sugar is one of the worst drugs that is out there. It is highly addictive and it's hidden and also not so hidden in everything. It's most often genetically modified, it's highly processed and extremely damaging to the body. Yet society loves and accepts it without question. Some people have even called me crazy because I try to avoid sugar. So the truth is that sugar is a mind-altering drug, and it's as addictive, if not more addictive, than cocaine. So if you want to live a happier life, this is one of the things that needs to let go. You need to let go of, oh, sorry. Let me tell you a quick story. I don't often eat sugar. I usually will eat it on special occasions, but that's it. And a few Christmases ago, I went overboard on the sugar, and lo and behold, I turned completely nasty. So I was not my usual happy self. I became very moody and almost angry over nothing. So immediately knew that it was my overindulgence on sugar. It was the only thing that I could tie it back to. So know that if you're someone that loves and craves sugar, know that you're not alone, and that if you need help, there is help available. So I will be doing another webinar that's coming up in the near future on sugar and how to kick sugar from your life. So if that's something you're interested in, just stay watch on my Facebook page or sign up for my email. So one of the biggest problems with sugar and other toxins is that it can lead to inflammation in the body. And inflammation in the body is equal to disease. So the best way to decrease inflammation is to increase the amount of veggies that you consume. It's one of the easiest ways. So I like to promote a rainbow diet. So this is a diet that includes colors of the rainbow. So when you're eating this way, you're ensuring that you get a variety of essential vitamins, minerals, and nutrients that are vital for your health and for your organs. I consider this health insurance for your body. Oops, sorry. So one group of veggies to take note of is the nightshade vegetables. They can cause inflammation in some people who are sensitive to alkaloids. So nightshade vegetables include tomatoes, potatoes, sweet and hot peppers, as well as eggplant, cayenne pepper, and nicotine. So vegetables are a great way to satisfy cravings. There are so many ways that you can prepare your sweet vegetables like carrots and sweet potatoes and parsnips and turn them into some really tasty, sweet, delicious snacks. And really, vegetables and sweet vegetables especially can become your friend when trying to kick vegetable sugar cravings to the curb. So before we move on to ways that you can avoid and lessen your toxic load, I want to touch base on the emotional body. We are all emotional beings, and we take on a lot of mental stress, whether it be from our work, our relationships, or some other area of our life that is causing us stress. So cleansing and detoxing on an emotional level is also very important. So taking the time to slow the mind and let go of what is no longer serving you is a very healing experience. So often when you cleanse the body, the cells will naturally let go of emotions that you may find that you'll have things that are coming up, things that you might have thought you've already dealt with. This is a completely natural and necessary process, and it is absolutely nothing to be afraid of. Just be gentle with yourself, know that it's all part of the process, and just go through it. So moving on, here are a list of 4 simple ways to reduce toxicity in your body. And once again, I'm just going to remind you, if you have any questions, you can type them in, and that would be great. So I don't see anything here. Okay, so first up on this list, we have tongue scraping, which is usually done with a thin U-shaped device that can be made of stainless steel, copper, or plastic. It has a blunt edge, and it helps remove the buildup from the surface of your tongue. So a lot of people will ask me if they can get the same benefits out of brushing their tongue with a stiff toothbrush. Well, the truth is, while a toothbrush does help clean the surface of the tongue, a tongue cleanser is far more sufficient since it removes deeper bacteria deposits and it also thoroughly stimulates the area. So it is suggested that when you wake up in the morning, before you do anything else, that this is when you cleanse your tongue with a tongue cleaner. So by doing this, you're actually removing the toxins that were excreted from your breath while you slept. And if you leave these toxins on your tongue, they will actually get reabsorbed back into the body, which helps to keep our immune system weak. So this can actually help boost your immune system. So another good habit to get into in the morning is drinking a cup of warm lemon water. And you do this on an empty stomach. This helps support the liver, it helps alkalize the body, it aids in weight loss, it helps your skin, it improves your moods, and it stimulates the lymph system. There's actually quite a lot of benefits for drinking warm lemon water. And this doesn't have to be hot water. Warm is the key, but it is really, honestly, a great habit to get into. Sticking with water on the third point is important. It's important to stay hydrated. Our bodies are roughly 75% water, so this means that we need to stay hydrated in order to keep water in our cells and keep them healthy. Most experts will recommend that we're supposed to drink half of our body weight in ounces of clean water each day. So this means if you're a 150-pound person, that you would need to drink 75 ounces of water. Water is so essential for our body functions. It helps us eliminate through our kidney, skin, and colon. If you're a person, like most people, they have aversions to drinking water. A few tricks that you can do is you can drink either any citrus fruit or cucumber slices in your water. It flavors it quite nicely. Herbal teas are also a great choice. But do note that if you drink alcohol or caffeine, that they're very dehydrating for the body. So if you do consume these beverages, you'll need to increase your water just to make up for the water loss that alcohol and caffeine can take. So the last point is about eating more fruits and vegetables. So as a society, this happens to be one of the most lacking food groups as a society. They recommend that we eat 7 servings per day, whereas most people are getting around 3 to 5. I like to recommend leafy greens. I find them very cleansing for the body. I recommend at least eating 1 leafy green salad or a side dish each day. And if you can increase that to more, that would be wonderful. Another easy way to get greens into your diet is to throw them into a blender with some fruit, and you can make a delicious green smoothie. So speaking of vegetables, I want to talk to you about shopping for produce that has been treated with minimal chemicals. This is one way that you can lessen your exposure to chemicals very easily. So this list that you're looking at has been created and updated by the Environmental Working Group. So you can find their website at www.ewg.org. They have a lot of handy tools on their website that can help you assess the products and the foods that you're eating for safety. It's a great site if you haven't checked it out. So first, up here, we're looking at the Dirty Dozen Plus, as you can see right here. These foods, when they were tested, they found the highest levels of pesticides and toxins on them. So these are foods that you would want to look at and buy organic or greenhouse grown. Greenhouse grown in the province that I live in Ontario, typically tends to have less pesticides than conventionally raised produce. So for example, I will often go for greenhouse grown sweet peppers because the organic peppers come from pretty far away when I can get Ontario local grown greenhouse. And also too, the organic tends to sometimes feel a little lifeless. When you're picking up vegetables, you can also feel from the vegetable, kind of the energy and the life force of it. It's a great habit to get into. And I should also note that even though this list, this list doesn't take into account buying local and in season. So definitely if you can find local and in season, that's great. So underneath the Dirty Dozen Plus, we have the Clean 15. So these foods, when they were tested, they had low levels of pesticides. So that way you could actually save some money and you could buy conventional with these. But there is one thing to note, that the sweet corn and the papayas, the sweet corn and the papayas, they tend to be genetically modified. So in which case you would want to buy organic foods, as genetically modified ingredients are not allowed in organic products, certified organic products. So when it comes to storing our food, it is really important to look at our exposure to toxins. So when I first started researching how to heal the acne on my face, I learned that there was a lot of chemicals in the products that I was using that were called hormone disruptors, and they could have been potentially the cause of my breakouts. Well, one of those chemicals was called bisphenol A, or BPA plastic, as some people might know it as. So with knowing that, that there was hormone disruptors in my products, I started looking at everything that I was using. And I realized that I was using a water cooler that had a hard water plastic container dispensing my water. And I discovered that that was made out of BPA plastic. And then I looked in my drawer where I kept my food storage containers. And at the time, I had a lot of Tupperware, much of which was also BPA plastic, the hard plastic that was designed for the microwave. At the time, I was also drinking out of a lot of pop cans and eating out of canned foods, which was also a lot more exposure to BPA. I was also drinking out of an aluminum bottle, which was lined with some sort of liner, which I'm assuming was probably BPA. So once I realized that almost everything that I was storing my food in was potentially contributing to the acne that I had to find alternatives. So I started looking at buying things in glass, and since then I always make sure that I buy everything in glass, from salad dressings to tomatoes to sauces and everything that you possibly need. And I also started to buy 1 liter and 1.5 liter mason jars. So when I made extra big batches of soup and sauces, that I could store them in them instead of the plastic containers that I was used to. At the time, I also got rid of my microwave and any aluminum and canned foods. And honestly, since then, I have never looked back, and I don't miss anything. It's amazing. So another chemical that I learned about early on was parabens. And once again, parabens are another hormone disrupting chemical. So when I first started researching the effects that these chemicals had on my body, I also went through all of my personal care and cleaning products. So prior to knowing this information, my doctor had recommended a very popular acne face wash. And this face wash was supposed to be very gentle and calming to acne inflamed skin. Well, it really wasn't helping me, but I continued to use it, just hoping, holding on to that pipe dream that it was going to help heal. But when I learned this about these ingredients, I looked at the soap that I was using and realized that the soap was full of hormone disrupting chemicals. So I chalked this up to be that the soap was a lot more irritating to me than it was healing. And even further to my shock was that as I began to look at every product that was in my bathroom and in my cupboards, that almost every product that I had at least one hormone disruptor and many carcinogens and neurotoxins. This wasn't exactly what I had signed up for when I was buying these products. When I was buying things off the shelf, I automatically assumed that they were safe for me to use, but I was pretty crazy to believe that. So once I began fully understanding that these ingredients were not quite as healthy as I was looking for, I set out to find products that would meet my high standards. So at this time, this was in 2007, there was a lot less options than there is available now. And truth be told, anything that was labeled natural and organic was not very green or clean at all. So this is when I started to make my own products. So the one important thing to remember is if you wouldn't eat it, then do not put it on your skin and do not bring it into your environment. It's that simple. So there's not much that baking soda, vinegar, lemons, coconut or olive oil, or castle soap cannot take care of. So what kind of results will you see when you go as toxin-free as possible? So for me, life just got better when I had less toxins in my cells. So personally, this list of all the benefits, all the results, I've experienced every single one of those. I am at a healthy weight. I am happier and more at peace. My skin, while it's not perfect, it is much healthier than it has been in years. I have endless energy and I rarely get sick, and when I do, I get through it quickly and without the use of medications. You can have all this too if you follow a safe and effective detox program. So what exactly is a safe and effective detox involve? So let me start by saying that cleansing and detoxifying the body can be uncomfortable, especially when you go about it in a very fast and unorganized manner. So if you are new to detoxifying the body, then I recommend that you follow a plan or find a coach or health professional that can guide you through the process. So my very first experience with detoxifying my body was a 7-day juice fast in Patagonia, Arizona at the Tree of Life Rejuvenation Center. So this was a truly incredible experience. It taught me a lot and it opened me up to a whole new world. So since then, I aim to do a cleanse, whether it be a juice cleanse or a whole food or a combination of the two, with each and every season. So while I'm comfortable doing a juice fast, it is not something that I would recommend to someone who is just starting out. So therefore, I like to suggest a whole food cleansing diet that includes healthy fats and proteins that assist in the detoxification process. So a cleanse would not be a cleanse if you continue to feed your sugar, caffeine, and or junk food addictions. So the best way to deal with these addictions is to follow a method that has been termed crowding out. So by simply adding in healthier foods and eating them before you reach for foods that are wreaking havoc on your system, so processed foods, white breads and sugars and junk food, so you will begin to feel satisfied and eventually your taste buds will change. So trust me, I used to be one of the pickiest eaters that you would ever meet. And after I did my first juice fast, I was completely blown away at how good food tasted. This was at the time when I was entering into a raw vegan diet, and I had never eaten so many vegetables before in my life. So this is coming from someone, and I swear this is the truth, that never ate vegetables, and I think I ate my first piece of broccoli when I was 16. So one of the first rules that I learned about detoxification is that there's 3 equally important phases in any safe detoxification plan. So the first plan, or the first phase, is the pre-detox or the pre-cleanse phase. So during this phase, you're actually preparing your body for the actual cleanse phase where you've actually eliminated the food. When I went to before I went to the Tree of Life for my 7-day juice fast, I actually spent a month going through the pre-detox phase. So depending on what kind of attempt you're going into, this phase can be a different length of time for everyone. Now, phase 2 is the detox phase, and this is when you're actually eliminating, you will have eliminated the foods, the caffeines, the common allergens, and a lot of the toxins that you're having on a daily basis. Then the third stage that comes next, and this is the final stage, is the transition phase. So during this phase, you want to reintroduce your food slowly, and you want to take care to notice any sort of symptoms or reactions that are happening as you reintroduce foods. So if you're following a detox plan, and you just make sure that you are following these guidelines. So when you're letting go of toxins, you may experience die-off symptoms, or you may fall off the cleanse. And when this happens, you may end up feeling really bad, and you may just give up. And when this happens, this can actually do a lot more damage than good. And if any benefits that you've had up to this point can actually be lost. So I do speak from experience on this. It's just best to follow this and stick with this as like 100%. If you do need, when you're in the detox phase, to have something as a treat, check with whoever you're following the cleanse with to see if what you're going to introduce is okay, because you don't want to hurt yourself. And once again, I do speak from experience. You don't want to be, screwing up the cleanse, breaking it the wrong way. So ever since I did my first juice fast experience, I really wanted to teach people how to do this kind of cleanse. But I realized that the best and safest way is not with a juice cleanse, but it is through a whole food cleansing diet. And that's when I developed the Eat Your Way to Bliss 11-day whole food cleanse. So if tonight's webinar has got you pumped as I am to ditch the toxic load, then you're going to want to pay attention to what is involved in this cleanse. As I mentioned, it is called the Eat Your Way to Bliss. It's 11-day whole food, whole body cleanse. The first call happens on May the 29th, and we meet again on June the 5th. Calls happen at 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. And don't worry if you can't make any calls. They will be recorded and sent out to you within 24 hours. For the first 10 people who sign up for this cleanse, you'll get a bonus 30-minute one-on-one session with me. And once you register for the cleanse, you'll get a link where you can download the recipe guide, which was created by a chef who understands the importance of digestion, decreasing inflammation, and keeping you satisfied. So you'll also receive a step-by-step guide, as well as shopping lists, a suggested meal plan, and a few other juicy bonuses. So have no fear if this still sounds scary to you. I will be guiding you every step of the way, and I will be doing the cleanse right alongside with you. You'll be receiving daily email support, and you'll also have access to a private Facebook group that was created specifically for the Eat Your Way to Bliss cleansers. Our Facebook page is a safe environment for us to share and to support and inspire each other. So this is a closed group, so please feel free to share. I do check in with this page several times throughout the day, so if there's any questions, they can be answered usually by me within a few hours. I also welcome others in the group to offer suggestions as to what's worked for them. The last couple times that I've done this, it's been wonderful seeing everybody share ideas and be inspired by the other cleansers. It's quite wonderful. So if this sounds exciting, and trust me, it's very exciting for me to be able to share this with you, then you can go to my website to learn a little bit more about what I'm offering with this cleanse. So you can see right here, there's the website. It's www.blissfully-authentic.com. If you click on the Work With Me tab, and you'll see that there's the cleanse there, and that will take you to the page. So for a limited time, for the next week until May 22nd, you can get this cleanse for $77. After May 22nd, the price goes up to $127. And if you're actually listening to this webinar live, or if you're watching the recording within 24 hours of the original airtime, you will have access to a link in an email that you will be getting following this webinar with the replay that will give you an additional $10 off the early bird pricing. So that will bring you down to $67. So I want to recap that this program is about nourishing you in the most delightful, delicious, and loving way. The step-by-step guide is loaded with delicious recipes and meal plans that will help you increase your vitality, restore your digestion, and set you on the path to bliss. And once again, I want to thank you all so much for taking time out of your schedule to learn more about cleansing and detoxification. So if you have any questions and you didn't get a chance to ask them on the chat here, please feel free to post any questions onto my Facebook wall, my Facebook business wall, and that's here, Facebook.com/blissfully authentic. You can also send me any private messages by email. It's melissa@blissfullyauthentic.com, and you can see that there on the screen. And I just really want to thank you all for coming out tonight. It's so great to see so many people turned out for my first ever webinar. I am so honored that you all came here. I hope you all have a great evening, and I'll be hearing from you soon. Take care, and thank you. Bye for now.